Hi, I'm Brian Crombie, and we're going to be talking on The Brian Crombie Show. We're going to be talking about politics, arts, business, and social issues on The Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Well, I've got a really interesting guest for you tonight. Christina J. is a matchmaker and a matchmaker supreme in the Greater Toronto Area and I think far wider than that. And I want to talk to her a little bit about how she got into this business, what she does, what some of the rules are of dating today, because I think there's something, more than 50% of all marriages end up in divorce. There's a whole bunch of single people out there. And, some people express a great deal of dissatisfaction with, number one, the dating apps that are out there, but also, number two, that you can't go out and meet people in bars or restaurants like you may have been able to do a generation ago. And so, Christina J., welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, how did you get into being a matchmaker to start with? What a strange and interesting job.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually was coaching executives and CEOs, and I found that was the biggest issue they had is that, it's lonely at the top. They have not much of a social life, and they needed help with dating and finding someone.
Coaching them on what?
Like executive coaching, life coaching.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so you've gone from coaching and life coaching into matchmaking.
Matchmaking is a natural progression.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so, what do? You just get people online, or how do you meet the people? How do they find your services? Word of mouth primarily, or what?
Word of mouth through my current clients.
Mm-hmm.
They find me online, but the service is totally not online. They don't want to be online at all. They don't want to be on a dating app. They don't want to be seen whatsoever, related to a dating app. So that's why it's difficult.
Why? Is there a bad image on a dating app?
They may have a public career.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be, out in the open with, people knowing their personal life.
Right.
So it's kind of limited as to where they would find someone.
And you're saying it started primarily with CEOs and senior executives.
Yes.
Males, females, or both? Both.
Yep.
That have no social life and have difficulty meeting people.
Exactly.
Why would such successful people have difficulty meeting people?
They're working all the time. They don't have time to go to a bar. They're not the people who are partying at 2 a.m. and, waking up at 11. They don't have time for that. So
how do you, let's say me or somebody contacts you.
Yeah.
How do you figure out who the appropriate match is? You do like a resume check or a comparison or what?
Yeah, we do an intake session.
An intake session.
Yeah.
What's an intake session?
So I go through everything with you, your background, what you're looking for, values, hobbies, characteristics that you're looking for in a partner, things like that. And then after that, I go about my search based on, what you're looking for.
And are usually the people you match people with also in your database, or do you have to go further afield than that, or how do you find them?
Both. It's in my database. I personally scout. I also have people that scout for me, and then I also collaborate with.
How do you scout? That sounds interesting. What do you do?
Yeah, you can scout online, like on LinkedIn and whatnot, in person,
And so on LinkedIn, you find someone and you say, "Are you single? Do you want me to matchmake you?" Or how do you scout online?
Well, actually, a lot of people reach out to me, and I say, you know what? I'm not interested, but I have someone for you. Sometimes they get offended. Other times they don't, and they're open to that.
So people are trying to ask you out, and you
sometimes, yeah.
And you turn them down, but try to introduce them to someone else. Well, that's an interesting strategy. Okay, so you do an intake session. You you try to figure out what people like now. So one of the old comments is opposites attract. So do you look for an opposite, or do you look for someone very similar?
I would say similar.
Similar. Why?
If you have very different lifestyles, it's going to be very hard for that person to eventually live with you and live that lifestyle. So it has to be pretty similar. You have to have similar interests.
Really?
Yeah.
So does a CEO want to be with another CEO, or does the CEO want to be with a secretary?
It's different for men. Like a female CEO wants to be with a male CEO. But if a male CEO usually actually doesn't want someone that is super busy. Sometimes, it depends. But sometimes they want someone that is more available to them in their schedule. So that does.
So that would suggest that the female CEO has a big challenge.
Yeah. That is for sure. Yeah, that's the toughest woman to match.
So what do you do?
I gotta look. I gotta search everywhere. It's a tough job.
So a female CEO wants to be with a male CEO, but a male CEO wants to be with someone that's got more time available.
Not always. It depends.
Not always.
If you want to be a power couple, sometimes they want a female CEO. Other times they want someone, more of a relaxed schedule that they can accommodate their own schedule. So it depends. For men, it depends.
Yeah, so I actually heard someone that said that, successful men turn down the alpha female and go for the subordinate female.
So, sometimes. Not always.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What about, other things? Age do people have to be within a certain, 2-year or 5-year age difference, or what's the sort of the rule that you look at when you're trying to match people? Can a 50-year-old be with a 30-year-old, or a 60 with a 40-year-old, or?
A 50-year-old can be with a 30-year-old. I've matched people like that, and they've been together for years. So yeah, it depends what you're looking for. I don't think there is rules with dating.
Okay, what about if the female is the older one? Can she be with a younger man?
Sometimes they want to, but
Sometimes they want to.
Sometimes they can't, right? It depends. Again, every situation is very different.
Okay, and so is that something you find out through the intake process, or is that something you find out sort of after you've introduced some people and they've turned them down, or?
It's usually during the intake session.
How many matches would you typically provide to someone before they no longer need your services and have found their match?
It depends. Sometimes it's a few, sometimes it's 6. A lot of the times it's 6.
6.
So people have to be patient. They can't expect, to fall in love with the first person they meet, although it can happen.
Yep.
But usually it happens, after 5 or 6
Do you get some difficult clients that are 20 and 50 before they, or they never find somebody?
I have difficult clients, and they know that they're difficult, and they still want to look, they still want to take their time in finding that right person, and there's nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't rush into something so important like that.
So we talked off the top about people's frustration with dating apps. Tell me a little bit about why someone would want to come to you rather than going on a dating app. What are the challenges with dating apps?
Right. Well, like I mentioned before,
Publicity.
Yeah, people with high-profile careers don't want to go on a dating app. They can't go on a dating app. They prefer not to. It's too public. So that's usually the problem for men and sometimes women. With women, I sometimes get them who have exhausted the apps, and they say it's a waste of time.
They've exhausted the apps.
Yeah,
I thought there was thousands of people on the apps. How can you exhaust the apps?
Yeah, they've exhausted them. They said they're super frustrated, right? So that's when they come to a matchmaker as well.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, sometimes, but other times it's super frustrating, and we have to have thick skin. There's not many people that stay in it long term.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it's like the big shops for sure, because there's employees coming in and out, but there's high turnover. But there are some that are in it for quite a long time, but it takes a certain personality to deal with difficult people.
And are there a lot of difficult people that you're trying to match?
What? The beauty of it is I'm my own boss, and I can pick and choose
who you want to work for.
Exactly.
So do you fire clients?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I'm just as much as you're interviewing me, I'm very much interviewing you. Not everybody's money is good money. It's not. I don't just take anybody that wants to hire me. I have to really see if we have a good chemistry together. If we're going to work well together, then it could be a great partnership. But matchmaking is not a business where you can just like take anybody.
What a fascinating, interesting career that you've built for yourself.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm going to ask you, about some of the rules in a minute. So we're going to take a break for some messages and come back more in 2 minutes with Christina J, a matchmaker, about some of the rules about first dates and first kisses and things like that. Stay with us, everybody.
Welcome to Lakeshore Towers, a smart and green architectural marvel. Lakeshore Towers is Pakistan's first ultra-luxury condominium complex.
For details, call 416-716-6888.
Ontario is open for business and pleasure. Let us celebrate life again. Come to TD Mosaic Festival and celebrate our art, our culture, and our cuisine. Let's meet on July 22nd and 23rd for the 17th Annual Mosaic Festival at Mississauga's Celebration Square and enjoy the award-winning festival with those who matter the most to you, your family and friends. Free admission and parking. More information, visit mosaicfest.com.
हम हैं मैचलेस। पाकिस्तान में 7 लोकेशंस, कनाडा, अमेरिका और सऊदी अरब में हमारे ऑफिसेज। हम पीआईए, इत्तेहाद और एमिरेट्स के सबसे बड़े टिकटिंग एजेंट्स में शामिल। तो फिर दुनिया में कहीं भी सफर करना हो तो टिकट हमसे लीजिए। We are matchless. Call now at 647-933-9700. Visit our website www.matchlesstravels.ca. We are matchless.
Hello everyone, we welcome you all to our 3rd anniversary sale. Huge selection of furniture, mattresses and accessories to meet all of your home furniture needs with the best selection, quality, service and the best prices in GTA. Only at Complete Home.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. We're chatting today with Christina J. She is a matchmaker, and we're talking a little bit about what a matchmaker does and how they do their job and how they make matches and stuff like that. And you said that, Christina, that you interview people, so you try to figure what they're all about, and that you actually don't do opposites attract. You try to find people with similar interests. What else do you do? Do you tell people for advice on, where to go and what to do on the first date? And people have, made comments like, you want to have a coffee or a drink because if they're no good, you want to escape. And then, or some people want to have dinner because, so what are the suggestions you give either the man or the female when they meet?
I suggest dinner because, it's a good amount of time to get to know one another. I think, in Europe, taking a lady out for dinner is fairly normal. Here in North America, I think dating is much more casual, and men are not as chivalrous. So,
as chivalrous as where?
As Europe.
As Europe.
Right.
So men are more chivalrous in Europe, and that's good.
Yeah, it's just it's just people are have more togetherness in Europe. That's why they don't really need matchmakers. But in big cities like New York, Toronto, people are very busy, they're working all the time, and they're not really connected with people.
So maybe you should do shows on and lessons on and seminars on chivalry.
I should. Men need it.
Men need it?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so tell me some suggestions you'd give me if you thought I wasn't chivalrous enough, what to do.
Things that are quite simple, but a lot of men don't know, like open the door for a lady.
Right, that's still something you're supposed to do.
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Put a chair out?
Yes.
Stand up when they come back from the washroom?
Yes, I like that. Yeah. I think all these things are good things that are being lost.
Taste the wine?
Yeah.
Or you offer her to taste the wine?
Oh, for her to taste the wine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, what else?
Yeah.
Pay the bill?
Yes.
Not Dutch?
No.
Never Dutch?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the first date or every date?
You know what? First couple dates for sure. After that, that's, between you two. Depending on, how far you guys.
So it's up to the guy to pay?
Yeah.
Okay. What other suggestions do you give people? So you say dinner, not a drink or a coffee.
Yeah.
And like a big expensive dinner or Jack Astor's or something.
No Jack Astor's, but it could be a simple, nice, cute restaurant in Toronto. It doesn't have to be super fancy on the first date, or you can, depending on, what you prefer. Like, it's really not about me. It's about my clients' tastes and needs,
Right.
right? So wherever they want to go, then I either set up the date, or if the gentleman wants to, they do it themselves.
And with these executives that you're trying to match up, you know, they got busy lives, they have appointments. What if work gets in the way? Cancellations?
It can, yeah. But I mean, why else would they hire me unless they want to meet someone? So they tend to open up their schedule.
They open up their schedule and keep the date.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What about like first kiss? When do you kiss on the first date? Do you take someone home on the first date? What are the rules that you have in that regard?
You know what? I don't have rules. Like a lot of these matchmakers, dating coaches, there's all these rules. If you're vibing with someone, you feel that you connect, then do what your gut instinct feels right. You know, by withholding intimacy for a great period of time, that's not going to make someone like you more. You know, so I think
So
yeah.
playing hard to get isn't a thing anymore?
Yeah, like it's very a thing. Like playing games is a thing. So it's refreshing when you meet someone and they're
It's not playing games.
Exactly.
What are some of the other games that people play?
Like texting and waiting to text. Like
Oh, you can't text again for 48 hours or something like that.
Right, things like that. But I
I
understand.
don't actually know any of these things. It's just stuff that I hear, you know.
Oh, really? Okay. But I understand people may play that game if they're being fed that game, so they give back the energy that they're taking in. But when you start off on a clean slate and the energy is good, that's when matches usually like flourish and they want to continue seeing each other.
One of my favorite movies of all time was about last night with Jim Belushi and Rob Lowe. And they said, you know, you never text within 48 hours, and never ever be the first one to say I love you.
As a man?
Yeah.
That's totally wrong.
Totally wrong.
What? That is not. The man should be the pursuer. He should be the chaser. Very much so. I mean, we've become.
The man should be the pursuer.
Yes, 100%. That's the problem. That's the problem with dating nowadays, because women have so much power in the workplace and everything else that is bleeding out into their personal life, and then the woman has to take on the masculine role. And then everyone's all confused, you know, like that's.
So you really believe in chivalry
Yeah.
and the masculine role versus the feminine role, and
Yes, 100%, yeah.
men got to be the pursuer.
Yes,
Right, that's interesting. You're very traditional in your values.
yes, I am.
Does that come from your European background?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say most European girls are like me. I'm Serbian, and I have Serbian girlfriends, and I think they would be pretty much the same.
Okay. So what about some of the the typical things people talk about in regards to politics or religion or race or one of the issues for the last couple of years is vax versus anti-vax.
Right.
Like how do you think about those sort of differences? The different races work.
Right.
Do you introduce white people to African Canadians?
Definitely. I mean, Toronto is such a melting pot of cultures, and I have clients all over the world, and they have homes all over the world. Like they're very multicultural. So it depends on the client.
What about religion?
Religion, I have all kinds of religions.
And you mix people of different religions?
Yes, yeah,
And you mix people of different ages?
yes.
And politics?
At times, yes.
At times. So politics doesn't work sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
So I've actually just seen on Facebook people say things like, if you believe in Trump, no, or if you don't believe in Trump, no. So that politics in the United States can be very divisive.
Yeah.
Hasn't come to Canada yet? Not to the same degree?
Not to the same degree, but definitely in the U.S. Yeah, I see that with U.S. matches for sure.
What about kids versus no kids?
What about it?
I don't know. Some people will say they don't want to date someone with kids or young kids, and other people say, no, that's not a problem. If you love someone, their baggage or whatever it is comes along with them.
Right. It depends on the person. Someone with young kids. Some people say they don't want someone with young kids because they want to travel, and that person may not have. The other person that wants to travel may not have kids, or their kids are grown up, so they want to have that flexibility. And someone with young kids may not, but many people have a nanny and live a very full life, and that doesn't have to be a problem. It doesn't have to be a limiting factor. So
Sounds like a fun job you got. You get to meet a lot of interesting people.
yeah, definitely.
Do you ever want to date someone that you end up having as a client, or someone that you
I don't date clients.
you about like, so if you match someone with someone else that wasn't a client, someone that came from your network, you ever want to date anybody? Never had that problem? What do you say, source, right? You go out and source people?
Right, exactly, yeah.
Do you source anyone that you want to date?
Not usually. No, not usually.
Okay, so let's say you said you do an intake interview. Let's say that I'm a potential client.
Okay.
What would you ask me in the intake interview?
In an intake interview, I would ask you everything. I want to know everything about
Everything?
Yeah, about like your job, your career, how'd you get there, your education, your past relationships, what went wrong, what are some elements you liked about it, what are you looking for in a mate, what qualities you're looking for in them, some deal breakers, things like that.
Deal breakers, like what? What would be the typical deal breakers?
Like if someone wants to have kids and they need someone that doesn't want to have kids, then that's sort of a deal breaker. Things like that wouldn't suit their lifestyle for the long term.
If someone is interested in meeting someone and really very interested, what would you recommend they do other than talk to you?
I would say don't be afraid to open up your network and like talk to people. Go up to a woman, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid to make an approach.
Yeah.
Be the pursuer.
Be the pursuer, exactly. That's what I think.
On social media or in real life? Or both?
Yeah, both.
Someone told me that grocery stores are the best place for a man to meet a female.
That could be, yeah. Maybe your local Whole Foods, your bride is waiting for you.
If people want to access your services, do you have a website that they should go to?
Yeah, preferredmatch.ca.
Preferredmatch.ca. And on Instagram or anything like that, should people follow you on social media?
Yeah, sure, Preferred Match.
Preferred Match on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
Christina J., thank you so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about dating in the 2020s.
Thanks so much.
Is it a lot different?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sounds like it's a challenging world out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much for helping people find their matches. I know that undoubtedly your clients appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, that's our show for tonight. Christina J., Preferred Match, preferredmatch.com. I think that some of the suggestions that she makes in regards to confidence and get out there and access your network apply whether it's in business, looking for a job, looking for clients, and or looking for a match. And so, I think that that's really helpful. And then I think that some of Chris's suggestions in regards to chivalry are probably pretty appropriate. And I think that too many people have lost that. And I'm not sure about exactly the idea about the man being the pursuer, but being confident and asking. There's in the Bible, seek and ye shall find. And so I think that that's a good suggestion. Anyway, thanks for joining us tonight. That's our show on the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Good night, everybody.